Did the Space Force just actually come out and say that aliens are real? Looking forward to your thoughts and your comments down below as we look at some recent news that has come out and some recent footage that has come out. There's about three different things that we're going to look at here. And if you didn't know, like I do have a special connection with this particular topic. I was, after all, born in Roswell, New Mexico. So the first piece that we're going to look at is from this general speaking, and let's get this thing started.
Well, this is a very hot topic, and I
You
appreciate the
think?
question. I know, admittedly, Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force is
I
quite
don't
a
know when
mouthful
they
in an
officially
acronym.
stopped calling them
You know,
UFOs
I've
this
gotten that
soon, but
question a couple other times. What do you think about UFOs or aliens? And quite frankly, having flown 83 different airplanes and had lots of hours, we've all seen lots of unexplainable elements.
so I'll pause it there. So I'll give the dude this much, right? We all see and hear different things. Like if you've never been into the woods and heard a bobcat scream, the first time that you do, it will scare the living pants off of you. Like you just weren't expecting to hear this bobcat scream because it sounds like a baby screaming its guts out. And you know that there's no children out there, right? At least you hope that there's not, or something crazy is going on. So I get dudes are going to have different experiences out there, but
The cosmos, the space realm is so large. If we look at the Earth, it is this tiny blue dot in an
third rock
unlimited,
from the sun, baby.
almost incomprehensibly large cosmos. I personally believe that there absolutely, from a probability perspective, is life out there. However,
All right, so I'm going to pause it there again. So I know that that service members cannot do things on a personal capacity when you are wearing the uniform. For example, if I wanted to go into a downtown area and there was a political rally going on, like I am free and clear. I have the liberty to go down in my civilian clothes and use my First Amendment rights. But what I cannot do is put on my uniform and head down there and support one side or another, because the moment I do that, I am not simply representing the Stoker. I am representing the United States military. I am representing the United States government. When we wear this uniform that we can obviously see that he's wearing, he can put the little caveat in my personal opinion, and I appreciate him doing that. But at the same time, like, that is not a personal opinion. That is a professional opinion.
this task force is a very serious U.S. government approach to systematically investigating and understanding these because, of course, unidentified elements present a national security concern.
All right. So, what kind of events have we seen in the near recent past that may draw cause and concern? Let's look at some of this footage that has been released. So this is coming just from January 15th of this year. And look at that thing flying through the sky. Like, that is absolutely crazy. I think it's coming again here in slow motion, right? And kind of a little frame by frame, and another view, another time. We can't really zoom in on this one. I could try to digitally, but it's just going to be fuzz. Look at that crazy maneuver. Like, we don't have anything that can move quite like that thing just did. It's absolutely crazy. What do you think about this footage that's coming out recently? Right? What do you think? And here's a sphere. And then let's go to the more recent one, which is on July 12th of last year. And we had this orb just flying through the desert, right? Like, that's not a space balloon. What in the world? And you know, these dudes like on the ground, like they have absolutely no idea that this thing's flying above them. I mean, even if they looked up, they probably couldn't discern or identify something that was flying overhead. Like this is absolutely crazy stuff. And what's interesting is, you know, growing up in the 80s and 90s as a kid, uh, things were becoming unclassified or declassified at the time. Stuff that had been going all the way back into the 50s and 60s. Like nobody had any idea about some of the airplanes, just airplanes that the U.S. was developing and pushing out there, right? And so it took decades for this stuff to become declassified. And here we are getting footage from last year and this year that is now declassified that we can watch. And what's interesting as well is, right, is this just hit the news. This was the chief of the Space Force says that the U.S. is facing a quote unquote new era of threats beyond Earth. Now that headline got all kinds of head spinning and all kinds of folks thinking that, you know, we're going to get ready to go to war in space. You know, it's going to be Independence Day, you know, here in 2023. But if you read down below, you'll read that he's specifically talking about satellites that have been launched from Earth that have the capacity to interact with and damage or interfere with in some sort of way other satellites that are out there. So they had the ability to, you know, to grab control of them, to destroy them, to dismantle them, whatever. So he's not specifically in this one talking about threats that may have come from outside of our solar system and coming back into us. Specifically talking about stuff that we launched. So I don't know. This is a crazy topic, you know, and obviously a lot of conjecture is out there, a lot of speculation, and a ton of thoughts and opinions about things that are classified, things that have been declassified now that used to be, and God only knows. Just like, you know, in the 80s and 90s, we were finding out about tech that the U.S. was making, you know, in the 60s and 70s and 50s. You know, it took decades for that to become declassified, and that's what we had. Well, just look at the advancements that we've had in the last 10, 20 years, and you can imagine what the government and what the military has been working on that may not be declassified for another 30 years. Pretty crazy stuff. Looking forward to your thoughts and your comments down below as we continue to keep this conversation rolling. Until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.